There's also tons of fear in the market about Rahu and Ketu. But if you were to do this, going from Ketu in the 12th house and to the first, you don't have to discuss Rahu. But just to understand that, what would Ketu in the 12th house mean, 11th, 10th, and so on and so forth? Yeah.
Okay, so Ketu in the 12th house is wasting your prana. And the opposite is 6th house, which means having routine. So these people are generally obsessed with having a routine, doing this, and I need to accomplish certain tasks. 6th house is also the house of enemies where Rahu thrives. So these people tend to be really good with people. They don't tend to have like a lot of enemies either, because a negative planet plus a slightly negative house, they nullify each other. So Ketu in the 12th house placement is really good for discipline. Then we move Ketu in the 11th house, and the karma over there, 11th house is gains, it's fame, it's all of these achievements that you get from the external world.
And that's easy for people in Ketu in the 11th house.
Yeah, but it's also related. So the fifth, you can't isolate Rahu Ketu. That's the thing. You can't just
Watch videos. Ketu in 10 houses karma. Ketu in 12 houses karma. Huh?
Right. They always come together, because fifth house, when you see opposite of the 11th house, fifth house is related to creativity. It's related to intelligence, buddhi. If you can't use your buddhi, you're not going to be able to achieve that level of fame that Ketu is supposed to give you. So there's that. And then there's again 4th and 10th house. This is something I've seen in my own life, where Ketu sits in the 10th house, or Ketu sits in the 10th house. It'll take you to the highest highs of your career. But a lot of people whose charts I've seen with Ketu in the 10th house, they hate their jobs. They would rather just sit at home, read books all day, or go out. They actually are really, really detached from their jobs, which is why they're able to gain really high positions in life. So a lot of people, like I know of this district collector, he has a brilliant chart, but Ketu in the 10th house, and Saturn sitting there also. So Saturn's the karka of that particular chart as well.
If you want to watch small segments of the podcast, subscribe to Dostcast Clips.
He has no interest in his job. He's just kind of doing it as a service to people.
Mankind, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, like, he's just into writing poetry and reading books and doing all of those things. So that's what Ketu over there does. And then in the 9th house...
Wait, you didn't talk about Rahu in the 4th house with Ketu in the 10th house.
So that's what Rahu in the 4th house is, right? He's trying to seek comfort in the home life.
Sure.
He wants to... he has this huge home, but as a district collector, he can't really move around and do... like, he has to leave his home every...
Sure.
So there's no comfort there with Rahu. He's just given it all up. Now he just moves like a vagabond. But Ketu in the 9th house, and then Rahu goes into your 3rd house, then you're really good with speech, you're really good with debate, you don't accept things really easily, so very skeptical people. And then 8th house, Ketu is very comfortable, because 8th house is also this house of constant change, constant transformation. So
Ketu, what does that entail? Like, what reward has Ketu brought from the past life to be in the 8th house?
Adaptability, just being that's what Rahu in the 2nd house is seeking, right? It's seeking comfort and stability. But if you embody that Ketu nature, which everybody goes through ups and downs in life, but what happens with Rahu in the 2nd house people, again, this thing with comfort, seeking that constantly, wanting that, I need a stable life, I need a stable job, I need to earn so much or I won't be able to survive. So that's what it gives in that 2nd house. And then when Ketu moves in the 7th house, it gives like a lack of desire, I would say, for relationships. I've seen that in a lot of different charts where people are okay with just being by themselves. They're not really keen on, or they're very old school with their approach of dating, because Ketu is a bit of a traditionalist as well.
Sure.
So that's what happens with these houses.
But then their Rahu is in the 1st house, which would make them Rahu dominant, I'm assuming?
I don't really subscribe to this dominance idea.
Okay.
I'll be very honest. I think each planet has a role to play in different areas of your life. And so at some point, especially if you're going through a particular dasha, and if you look deep into it, that's where you'll find that planet becoming really dominant in that part of your life. Whereas so if you're going through your Rahu Mahadasha right now, and if your Rahu is placed in a certain place, the karma is to improve Rahu. So there's no such thing as dominance. That's what I believe. But if you do have a stellium, like if you do have multiple planets in one house or something like that, that area of your chart becomes dominant.